As some of you guys know, I got a chance to stream and play some 2K19 with Ronnie 2K last night. Quite a few takeaways I got from that experience, especially since I was allowed to ask a lot of questions in regards to NBA 2K20. Number one, Ronnie, if you're listening, I'm never playing with you in those West Coast servers ever again. Now, come to think of it, that's probably why he didn't want to join my party and join the East Coast servers. Once the park got so packed, it was lagging so much, plus there was an event going on. I hope 2K took some notes on that because that is an issue in the current 2Ks. Number two, multiple playthroughs in the demo is confirmed. When I asked Ronnie if the prelude or the demo would be limited like it was in the past, or will we have multiple opportunities to try out different archetypes or different my player builds and different configurations, but he did say it'd be numbered, so maybe we'll have at least 2, maybe 3 or more opportunities to actually build certain builds and test things out in the demo. So that sounds really good. I think it's going to reduce a lot of us laying up real late at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what build we're going to make. We get a chance to avoid mistakes for our first builds. In the past, you could only play the prelude once. Try to say that 10 times fast. But after that one playthrough, you weren't really sure if that build was going to be the wave. So multiple playthroughs, multiple builds. Sounds like 2K is listening to the community. I asked about the WNBA and if whether or not we can make female players, and Ronnie was very cryptic in his response. Sounded like 2K's got something up their sleeve in terms of adding in female players or having WNBA players as part of the storyline. He wasn't clear, but there's something going on with that. Now, I had my top 5 personal questions I wanted to ask Ronnie, but I knew based on experience that it would be a little too early for him to answer certain questions. If you're really a 2K fan, you know that we don't get a lot of information until really a month before the game comes out, and really the week before the game drops is when we start getting a lot more footage. It's just the way marketing is with this game. My first question was reducing microtransactions, whether or not 2K's been considering reducing the price that it costs to build a my player, getting them to 85. And his response was that they are looking at different ways that they can try to mitigate reckless spending, people feeling disappointed that they made the wrong build and having to dole out extra money. He wasn't very clear on whether or not that's going to be a big change in NBA 2K20. I asked him about new parks, new locations, even for the JRC or some new content. And in Ronnie 2K fashion, he said we'll just have to wait and see. Apparently there are some new events and some things that he saw that he's pretty excited about in terms of the neighborhood. I also asked him about lag and the delaying that takes place while we're in the events. If whether or not the games that are going on in the background, if those could be removed because those are AI players or not real players, if that was something that was a hindrance to gameplay. And his response was they're always looking for ways to reduce lag. He alluded that the 2K19 neighborhood was probably less laggy than it's been in past iterations. I even asked him about an option for matchmaking for those guys who can't seem to get 3-on-3 park games because their overalls are so high, they find themselves standing around that no one wants to play them. And he said that they never really want to separate the experience. They don't want to separate people from each other. They don't want to create another environment. They basically don't want to create a split within the community where some people are playing hardcore in a matchmaking environment while the rest of us are playing against randoms in the neighborhood. I asked if removing people's overall or their record might help because some of you guys were asking those questions in the comments as well. Thought that was a good idea. And he said they're definitely looking into those kinds of things. But I did ask him that question, and it sounds like there might be some form of a change in that department. I asked him about double bars and triple bars while repping up your archetype. He didn't confirm that that's been removed from 2K20, but he did state there are major changes to how you rep up next year in general. I also asked him about choosing your own attributes. Will we have that opportunity as well? And that all fell under the same umbrella. There's some kind of new way to rep up in 2K20. Apparently he agreed with archetype limitations, stating that you can't necessarily build a Russell Westbrook. I think a better example would have been like a LeBron James or Kevin Durant. He followed that agreement by asking me, what do you want to grind for? And also, how do you separate the boys from the men? How do you separate guys that have 1,000 hours of playtime versus guys that have 100 hours? Most of us would say we're grinding for rep to get our player to a 99 so we can feel like the GOAT out there. Ronnie made it clear that there's some form of new innovation in terms of how you rep up your player next year. It is my personal belief, after my experience with Ronnie, that the road to 99 has changed. I've had my own gripes with the road to 99 because in a lot of ways, I've told you guys that I believe it's a pipe dream. In fact, some of us make archetypes based on how that build's gonna be at 99 overall. There's a very small percentage of the community that actually reached 99 overall. I think a lot of us were satisfied when our builds got to 94 overall. At this point, Ronnie was being very cryptic, and he wanted to make us understand that 2K is always trying to innovate and bring something new to the table. So I'm not entirely sure that we're gonna go back to park rep and start from rookie and finish with legend. But it does sound like there's some form of new legendary recognition that you're gonna receive in NBA 2K20. Who knows, maybe the highest levels you'll get an icon over your head like a YouTuber or last year's 99 overalls. So in closing, he did say that I will be attending 2 2K events this year. One is the Community Day Team Up event, and the other is the launch event. As you know, I tried to ask as many questions as possible, also reading your tweets as they were coming in and in the timeline during the stream itself. I had so much coming in, it was too hard to focus on everything. But I promise you all will be revealed. We're less than a month away. It's your boy Shake. Smack that like button to show your support, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And it is finally that time again to choose the top plays of the year. We're inside a month before NBA 2K20 becomes playable, so please do me a favor, cast your votes so we can narrow it down for the top 10 plays of the year.